BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established.
For Lufthansa, the aviation industry has been unforgiving. While the statement could apply to many other airlines in the industry, arguably none more than Lufthansa have been as vocal, as you've heard me say many times now. Still, the transparency has been brilliant. Even at Lufthansa's lowest, it's given us more insight into how the pandemic has truly hurt the operations at the German carrier. For Lufthansa, their January and February schedule looks very different from how they may have imagined it back in October and or November. The airline has already announced that it will cancel 10% of its winter network, equating to some 33,000 flights, and has further noted that they'll be operating 18,000 flights that will have little to no customers on board. It may seem like quite an odd decision for the airline to flying essentially empty flights, especially in these times. However, there's a far deeper-rooted reason behind the decision. See, the airline needs to maintain slots into critical airports. Rules for maintaining these slots fit under the European regulations that mean the airline has to keep some type of network operational, even if it means no passengers are on board. A spokesperson who spoke to local media in Germany noted that while the airline reluctantly continues operating some flights, it is its only option. You heard me make mention of the rule the European Union has regarding slots, which may have previously gone unnoticed. It does require customers to operate their aircraft on at least 80% of their given slots. Failure to comply with this requirement puts an airline at risk of keeping that slot, and for carriers, slots are a valuable part of a business. They allow airlines to coordinate operations, and similar to parking spots, say closest to the shopping centre doors, they enable these airlines to have priority and fly into locations at the very best of times, which naturally heavily benefits passengers that may want to arrive into their destination in the morning or potentially just before night. Ultimately, they're lucrative and worth a lot of money. Losing out on these valuable slots is actually more damaging than you may have potentially first thought. The airline is likely, despite this, going to continue adjusting services for the coming months. With a significant degree of uncertainty and generally unknown, Lufthansa will be continuing to keep track of bookings, cancellations, and restrictions that could lead to either reinstating specific flights or removing them from their schedule, although I would certainly argue that the latter is more likely given the current situations. Back to slots though, to give you an idea of just how valuable these can be for an airline like Lufthansa, a slot into London Heathrow at a prime time can cost in the tens of millions. Now, that sum of money is only one slot for London Heathrow. That is not for airports, say, within Germany, potentially the United States, and so many more. You can see, therefore, losing out on one of these important slots would be definitely damaging to a business overall, especially if they do not want to go to the smaller Stansted or Luton for their operations, which of course may ultimately be cheaper to acquire a slot, definitely pose their downsides, which for a business like Lufthansa is simply not worth doing. What are your thoughts on Lufthansa operating seemingly empty flights, or at least almost empty flights, across 18,000 services on their network in the coming months? A decision that, of course, has not been made lightly, but they've really had no choice in making. You can let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.